Record. Hello, Caleb Foote, my partner in crime on NCIS Origins. I want to thank you for joining us from Michigan.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Right now I'm in my dad's garage office. My dad's walking in right now. He's just passing through.
Hey, hello. Your
Let's
dad
do
is
this
like
thing.
a badass musician.
He's a badass everything. He does
Yeah,
it all.
I love that.
Right now he's gonna go do some I think they're gonna do some logging. They're gonna clear out some trees. They're gonna cut some trails. So my mom has a meditative space to walk through. My mom likes going on walks to like clear her head.
That way. Don't mind the debris. I'm a bit of a clutter guy.
And my mom's a yogi, and one of her getaways during the long winter months is just walk in the backyard, you know.
Oh, yeah. You trust me. I got we got a little bit of a property up in Toronto, and we got to clear our paths. And the winter sucks because you get all the fallen logs and leaves, dead trees and stuff, and it's hard to keep them clear. So better to do it now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can't do it in the summer. You just overheat, man.
And poison ivy.
Ooh,
that's we all love to get.
Oh, I get it so bad. I get it so bad.
It's good to see you.
Right, sorry to interrupt. Bye, Dad.
No worries. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So you grew up in like woodsy kind of rural Michigan.
Yeah, for the first 7 years of my life. And then we grew up in the Caribbean. My mom.
Tell me about that.
My mom.
Where did you grow up in the Caribbean?
It's a tiny island. I wonder if there's a map here. Maybe it's a tiny island in the Lesser Antilles, called Montserrat, and it's about 38 square miles. There's an active volcano there. And because of the active volcano, only half of the island is inhabitable. And we moved there. My mom was in the Peace Corps, and so my mom got an opportunity to be an occupational therapist down there through the Peace Corps. And then my dad moved his construction company down there, and so they brought all 4 boys with them, which was a crazy. But I mean, thinking about it now, it's crazy. But when you're a little kid, that's just normal, that you just realize, oh, this is what people do. Everyone moves down to the Caribbean where there's an active volcano, and the neighborhood we lived in, every third house was abandoned, and that's me being generous. Probably 2 out of 3 houses were like, if not abandoned, just like part-time residences. And in and out, because we were able to afford living down there in like kind of a villa because we because of our proximity to the volcano. We were evacuated about a dozen times growing up when the volcano would erupt. And as a kid, like looking back now, it's like that's actually really crazy. But as a kid, it was so normal. We kind of just thought this is what life is. So there was nothing super strange about it. And we romanticized the idea of the United States. So we'd come back to the United States because all of our television was American media from Puerto Rico. And so we'd come back to the United States, and we just idolized the American experience. We idolized milk, like, because they didn't have everything came in shipping containers, and they didn't have refrigeration. So we idolized like cold milk and fast food and pizza. I mean, we had everything we needed down there, but just as a little American boy watching Nickelodeon, you're like, I want to be like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. You know what I mean? Plugging that show.
Dude, I mean, there's something you'll never. I bet everybody just found out about Randy. The guy who's originated this incredible character who fans love, grew up in the Caribbean. I love that.
Yeah, but I have a good photo. I'll send you. Maybe that photo will be my bio, my first communion photo. Because I got to send you a biopic.
You do got to send me a biopic. So we'll jump into this because I know, you're visiting family, which is incredibly important. We've got a week off. And I think we've all, between us and the crew and the workload, we all needed it for our mental health. We're working on something that we all love so dearly. We're so passionate about it. It is an industry that runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour, mostly 12 to 14 hour days. And, you know, our crew and our guys have families, and we've got families. And when's the last time you got back to Michigan?
I snuck back. I snuck back for Labor Day. My brother just had my brother and my now sister. I've never had a sister, but now she just got married in. They just had a beautiful baby girl named Maple. So I snuck back in Labor Day for like a quick 24 hours, and I'm a first-time uncle.
There you go. Congratulations on being an uncle, man.
Thanks. I met baby Maple Foot.
Maple, I love it. Maple's such a pretty name. I love it. I wish
It's a great name.
I'm Canadian and I just had a daughter, but you know what? Vicariously, I will have the name through your brother.
She's the future. She's the future captain of the women's hockey team, USA. Team
Hell
USA
yeah.
hockey team.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, maybe my little Lennox will be the captain of the Canadian women's hockey
they'll
team,
go head to head.
and we can go head to head. All right, so let's jump into this because I know you're surrounded by family, and that is incredibly important. So like, you know, I want to talk about. I lead in with this question because it's interesting because everybody comes from a different place. Everybody was raised in a certain way. You're a number of years younger than I am. You know, I grew up in a household where mental health wasn't necessarily shunned, but it wasn't understood. You know, the idea of seeing a therapist was kind of like you kind of laugh it off. There was never there wasn't an idea of like, let's talk about our things, you know. It was more, we're good. We're good. We're good. You know, your parents sound really progressive. Sounds like, you know, your mom, what you said your mom ended up working down in the Caribbean with in what facet?
She was an occupational therapist, so she was
That's
working with senior citizens specifically.
That's incredible.
Yeah, she was.
What was it like for you? So how old are you?
I'm 30 now.
You're 30,
but then,
so there's a 10-year difference between you and I. So that's
dude, come on, you're 30.
That's an interesting generational gap. The 10 years is a pretty good amount. You're younger than my little brother, who's 7 years younger than me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what was it like growing up in your house? I mean, you grew up with 3 brothers.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of boys in the house.
Yeah. Mental health was never really, I mean, especially as a little kid, it was never really discussed. And especially in the Caribbean, living in the Caribbean, there were less resources, but now those resources are getting so much better in the Caribbean. I listened to the radio station down there, ZJB, and recently they've been having some really good broadcasts talking about resources. So it's even growing there. So like if for the United States, we're still getting better at it, and down there they're getting better at it. It just really wasn't something. It wasn't like a point of emphasis. It was a very nurturing household. My mom is a yogi. She's like kind of an ex-hippie. So we were surrounded.
Are you ever an ex-hippie, or are you just
no, she's still a hippie. She's still a hippie. Once a hippie, always a hippie. And so there's always been a very kind, honest, nurturing household. And with 4 boys, that can be an uphill battle. You know,
Sure.
They wanted a girl bad, because if you throw a girl in there, that just changes the whole mix. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, maybe will be a little more sensitive and stop throwing stones. There were a lot of literally throwing stones at each other because we were just young boys in the Caribbean. Get out of the house, and then we would just get up to no good. You know,
like, oh, there's a coconut, I'll throw it at him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And half the island being abandoned where we lived, we were just getting up to no good.
That sounds like such a fun place to grow up.
It really was. It was really hard at first as a young man. Just that culture shock. And then right when I moved down to the Caribbean, there's this thing called summer workshop, and I made a grave mistake of at the time I thought I was doing the right thing. I found a purse. And this was right when I moved there. We were the only white kids. We were the only white kids in the school system. All the white people were like expats and retirees. And so all these kids had never really interacted with someone who looked like me before. And I found this purse, and inside the purse was a bunch of money. It was like 40 EC dollars, Eastern Caribbean dollars. And so then there's this sandwich shop at lunch, and we went to lunch, and I'm a little kid. I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I buy grease bread and cheese sandwiches for everyone in the line because I think that's what you're supposed to do. And so I just like everyone gets a sandwich. I bought everyone a sandwich, and then I thought I was doing the right thing, and then later the teacher found the purse, and then just like who's this? And then all of a sudden, it's such a small island. It got back to my mom before I even got home. And then I kind of immediately, when I moved to the Caribbean as a little boy, I kind of got this, at least from my perception, I got this reputation, at least it's kind of how I was treated at first on the playground, as a little thief. I was a thief.
Shit.
And so it's like, oh shit, the new white boy.
Thought you were doing something good.
Yeah, and
all of a sudden you're adopted with this
huge. Oh yeah, and that was really hard, because I was just trying to assimilate to culture in general, and then so that just made like the playground bullies. These are the first years. Like it got really great. It got like exceptional towards my middle and later years there. But towards the beginning, it was really hard. I had the worst Sunday scaries, like crazy anxiety as a little kid going to school, and I fell behind in all my classes, because I was just kind of trying to survive on the playground. And so what that actually created was this amazing. The weekends were just this incredible escape for me and my bros, and we would just run off down to this huge, like basically abandoned beach, Old Road Bay. At the time it was basically abandoned. Now there's a cool beach bar down there, and we would just like play all day, and it was just this incredible escapism. And I think that's where I learned the power of my imagination and the power of my trust and my love in my brothers. I developed such a crazy bond with my brothers and these worlds that we were building. And then Sunday would roll around, and I'd get the worst Sunday scaries, and I'd have to go to school. And then I ended up being held back. My parents had to hold me back because I couldn't read at the age of like 8, because there were just so many things going on. And then I remember my parents breaking it down to me, and they were like, if you place in the top 10 of school, we'll get you whatever you want. And I was like, this is the worst. You want to make me like, or top 10 of your class will get you whatever you want. I'm like, this is the worst. You want to make me go into class with all those babies? Not only is it already horrible, but I have to be with all these babies.
Right.
Because at the time, that's what you think of the grade underneath you. And then I ended up being held back. And then I ended up getting number 2 in the class. And I was battling for number 2 and number 3. Joseph Castle and Tiffany Scarrett were always on top of me. And I got an Xbox, so I was the only kid on the island with an Xbox.
Oh, nice!
And then immediately I was real cool,
real popular. That's great, man. That's very cool. So okay, I'm gonna take this offshoot, which I really appreciate, because look, some of these people don't know you personally. They're getting to know you personally just through this conversation. I'm sure they can tell that you're very playful. You're a joy to be around. You're a joy to work with. You're extremely professional. Your work ethic is phenomenal. Your comic timing is like, it's up there with it's right at the top of anybody I've ever worked with, man. Your comic timing. And you work your butt off. You come to work and you're a joy to be around. I appreciate that about you very much. And you brought up this idea of play, right? Playing with your brothers, playing at the beach, playing, we get to play for a living, right? We acting's, we put on costumes and makeup and we create these characters. We're playing. We're having fun, right? Is there a sense in life, maybe at a certain point, where we're supposed to fit into these boxes, these societal expectations, where the pressures build up and the idea of play gets lost? Do you think that society puts, we reach a certain point in our age where we kind of forget to play?
Yeah. Definitely. Because sometimes when I see a person, I think of them as just like, as the kid that they once were, because we are all that kid. We're all those kids that we once were. Society just happens. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well,
I mean,
I want, I mean, I guess I'm getting more philosophical than the, you know, because I feel like as an adult, I'm a grown up now. Um, you know, like I've got responsibilities. I've got
totally, totally,
these things that I'm constantly trying to live up to. And here's the thing: if you don't run the rat race, if you don't pay your bills, if you don't pay your mortgage, if you don't pay for your rent and pay for food and pay for everything else, like you're not going to do well. You
totally,
know,
totally,
society is built around this kind of structured world that like you have to check certain boxes, otherwise your life will fall apart,
totally, totally.
right?
And so I think we find ways of playing within those guidelines. I remember being a little kid, and I remember like looking around at my older bros who no longer play with toys, and I was just like, I will never not play with toys. I remember making that promise to myself. I will never not play with toys. Toys are the coolest. And as I get older, I'm just going to get even cooler toys. And I guess I still kept that promise because, like, you know, like I just bought skis. So that's still a toy. So I think we just kind of like figure out a different way of playing within these societal rules. Like
Mhm.
if we're watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Housewives on Hulu, I just plugged that show. That's still like our escapism and our play. Um I think we still figure out, like, I just went to a football game yesterday. Why are 110,000 people crowded around this frozen stadium to watch these young men battle? I don't know.
Right.
It's just like that's like a part of the play. And then some people, they're negative. I mean, it's not negative, but it can be negative. A lot of people find that joy and that play in like consuming alcohol. They'll go to the bar with their buds, or
Sure.
especially in Michigan when the days are shorter and the clouds are grayer. You know, that's a really big Midwestern activity is boozing. I think people find different ways of play, and there's healthier ways of play, and there's I guess less healthy ways. But if you can control that, which is always the hardest part, yeah.
Why is mental health, why is talking about it? I mean, I know I asked you to do this, but you know, you jumped
It
on
is.
board right away. You were like, yeah, I'd love to do that. Why is talking about mental health, men's mental health? I like to just say not just men's mental, but we're talking about mental health because if we peel away the skin, we're all just human. Why is it important to you?
It's important to me because it's so hard to talk about, even for me. I mean, I immediately agreed, but and then when you gave me a couple talking points, I was like, what could I like plan? What could I write down? It's just I didn't end up writing down or planning anything. It is so difficult to talk about, and there's no right or wrong way of going about it. Um, and there's no resolution. There's no, oh, I'm cured. Oh, I'm fixed. There's no, you don't get a package in the mail that says this is your mental health box, even though this looks like that.
Right, that could be my mental health bug.
There's no package. Yeah, wait, this is a mental health box.
Hello,
But
can I
there's
have 4 of those, please? I need all of them.
there's no clear cut solution for every person, and every single person's journey is so different. Like for me, I am a very positive person, but that doesn't mean that I'm exempt to like waves of anxiety. And I think COVID especially brought those to my attention, and I would just have some like pretty tough days. And now and they were days that I never really realized, like I never really noticed them before, and I think it kind of drew my or they came to my attention, and then I found these different ways of mitigating. I don't know if this is just I call them bad brain days personally. It's like,
That's
ah,
great. I
fuck.
like that. I like it. Kind of
Yeah,
makes it
like, ah,
playful. You're just
fuck,
having a bad brain day.
I'm having a bad brain day, and it's all of a sudden these things that start stacking up that really on any other day wouldn't upset me and wouldn't give me anxiety. And then I've just developed my own personal tools to get out of bad brain days, and they don't always work, but it's just something that I'm striving for. And so it's like, for me, my personal tools, yeah, I'm a big health nut, and that's not for everybody. I mean, it's a health, and health is for everybody, but But like I going to the gym that like necessarily isn't for everybody. But I love going to the gym. If I go to the gym, I find that really helps with my bad brain days. If I go out and experience Mother Nature, that super helps with my bad brain days.
Mhm.
It's just so funny calling them bad brain days.
No,
'Cause
I love it. Like, I'm going to adopt this. And like, I think
But
everybody's just got to be like, I'm having a bad brain day, because it sounds so much better than like I'm feeling depressed. I'm
no,
feeling
totally.
anxious. Like, I'm just having a honey, I'm having a bad brain. I had a bad brain day yesterday. I came
Dude, I
home
had a
really
bad brain day a
stressed
couple
out.
couple days ago.
Yeah.
And then it's just like kind of all it for me, a big thing is identifying when I'm in a bad brain day. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm clearly in the middle of one. And then I never take it. It never like right now I'm not having a bad brain day, and I can acknowledge that, and I don't take it for granted. So then I can kind of future. I obviously want to live in the moment, but when I'm in a bad brain day, I acknowledge the moment. I'm like, crap, this isn't who I am.
Mhm.
This is just this particular moment that I'm going through, and I'm just seeing things a little more negatively. I'm stacking these bad things, and so then I'm so much more grateful when I'm in the middle of a good brain day. Does
Well,
that
yeah,
make
I mean,
sense?
you're talking about recognizing, take like, and this is a skill that you've learned, or you
Yes,
taught yourself, adapted to, soaked up somewhere. And I think I think that's is a really simple tool. It may take work to adapt, but just recognizing your feelings, taking a moment, as opposed to going like, I'm gonna run this race as fast as I can, and not give myself an opportunity to even stop and feel.
totally.
But you're giving, just, okay, am I having a good day or a bad day? Because bad days don't always follow one another. Even
No,
if
they
you have
don't.
a few bad days in a row, you're gonna have a good day.
Totally,
But
totally,
but recognizing this is a good day, or I'm having a bad brain day, and going like, okay, well, I know at least I'm here. At least I'm
totally,
feeling it. And then when you have a good day, you're going like, well, it's not one of my bad days. So
totally,
we know that it's not this kind of like overtaking thing. Like everything in life, there's balance. Everything comes in waves. There is light and there is dark. And we're just kind of along for the ride.
totally, totally.
So you go to the gym.
Yeah,
I know you eat well. You're a really
yeah,
healthy guy. You are, in my opinion, as somebody who knows you in the workplace, innately positive. But you've just said that even you have your bad brain days, and
absolutely.
and you work through those. Um, I know you're a huge Michigan fan. You went to the game yesterday.
Michigan's having a bad brain year right now.
A bad brain year. There you
That's
go.
Michigan football right now.
Well, you guys won last year, so like,
Yeah, we won it
you can't
all. It's
you
okay.
can't have it all. You can't have. So I would say one of the good things that you're doing is spending time with family.
Totally.
You've spent the time to talk to me today, which I appreciate dearly. You've shared some of your life with us, and you know, eating well, going to the gym, going on walks. I've heard you tell me like, you know,
Oh yeah.
I think I turned to you at one point, even just last week, and I was just like, it's a lot, dude. And you were like, didn't you go for a walk? And I went, no. And you went, oh, you should go for a walk. It helps all the time. I always go for walks. And I was like, okay, all right, well, I guess I'll go for a walk next time. And I've got a dog, so you know what? I'm gonna take a walk later today just because I'm enjoying it. Um, thank you for your time.
My
Uh,
pleasure. My pleasure.
you're on a hit TV show.
Hey, you too.
Plug it, baby.
Well, here before I plug it, can I just say one more thing about mental health?
Yes, please. We can talk forever if you want, but I know you got to
Thank
go apple
you
picking.
know, thank you for honoring my time. We're gonna go to an apple orchard, which I haven't done in a long time, because I'm craving my Michigan experience. I think a big thing. Sorry, yeah, I'll just here. A big thing is that people struggle with. I think is a sense of identity, and a big problem with I think American society specifically is attaching our identity to our vocation.
Mhm.
And whether you're a waiter or an actor on a TV show, you are not your identity. You are not that. Like, that's not who you are. Caleb is not. Caleb is not Bernard or Special Agent Bernard Randolph. Caleb is not insert random television show. Kyle is not. Kyle is not Mike Franks. Kyle is not blah blah blah. Kyle is a loving father. Kyle is he loves nature. Kyle is a fantastic brother. You are so many things that the society wants you to kind of identify as your vocation. I think this is something that I discovered, and I learned this the hard way. I was on a TV show called The Kids Are All Right, and that was my identity, and I attached my entire identity into that, and then it was canceled kind of dramatically, and that was the first time I kind of fell into a depressive, my first ever time I've like identified, wow, I think I'm depressed. And it was just like a week long where like I was just eating pizza every day. And that's not who I am. That's not, I mean, pizza, people are allowed to eat pizza every day, but for me, that's not who I am. I was like eating pizza for breakfast. I was just like in this depressive state where I was trying to find all of these outside ways to bring me joy. Because I felt this massive void, because I did attach so much of my identity into something that isn't who I am. And so now I've learned that through trial and error, that's something that I'm constantly struggling with, but that's something that I think I'm getting so much better at, is who I am and what is my identity. And it's not easy. So yeah. I keep talking and then I end you on a cliffhanger.
No, it's great. It's phenomenal.
But
I remember when your parents came to work. They came to the studio, and I was lucky enough to meet them. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember saying it very clearly because I wanted them to know how much of a wonderful person you are. And you really are that. I think I said, I hope you're proud of your son because he really is just a phenomenal person. And they were like, yeah, obviously. But Caleb, you are, it really is just an honor to know you as a person.
Thanks, David.
You are uplifting. You care deeply. You're smart. You care about people. You care about the work. You're a great son. You're proud of your family, and you've worked hard to be where you are. Your work ethic shows every single day, and I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate you dearly, and I'm glad you voted.
It's your obligation as an American citizen.
There you go.
It's not political, it's American to vote.
There you go. That's right.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm on now I'll plug my show.
Plug it.
I'm on NCIS Origins. Watch it Mondays at 10 p.m. after the regular NCIS. Kyle's in it. Kyle's amazing. Austin's in it. Who you're gonna see? Mariel's in it.
Much love, brother.
Love you, brother. See
Enjoy
you
apple
later.
picking.
See you. We're gonna
Bye.
go pumpkin patching.